In these lectures, I will be discussing some topics related to the resource management. First, about water resource management. Recently, we have seen in news about 3 missions, that is Adal Bhujal Yojana, Jal Shakti Abhiyan and Jal Jeevan Mission. So these 3, there is a chance for confusing in the exam. Because these 3 are related to water, so we have to understand the difference between these 3 schemes. First, about Adal Bhujal Yojana, as the name indicates, Bhujal, it is about groundwater. So this is a measure to conserve the groundwater, especially to conserve the groundwater. So it is taken up with the help of World Bank assistance. So this is also a point we have to note. It is with the help of World Bank assistance, and it aims to promote water conservation in water stressed areas. So where the areas are facing water stress, certain states are identified, that are Gujarat, Haryana, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh. Areas are identified and there this program is implemented. So they will form water use associations at a Gram Panchayat level. So it is working from Gram Panchayat level. Gram Panchayat level water use association will advocate water conservation, water recharging, rainwater harvesting, etc. so as to come up with a sustainable solution to tackle this water issue. So what are the various activities? Monitoring the groundwater data and disseminating the groundwater data, informing the people about the status of the groundwater, what is the level, what are the contaminants, pollutants, like that things they will monitor. Water budgeting, so they will see what kind of uses we can use water, what kind of uses not to use water, what kind of crops we should use, like that water use will be budgeted. Water budgeting and preparation and implementation of Gram Panchayat wise water security plan. So the unit is Gram Panchayat wise water security plan will also be formed and implemented. And Central Groundwater Authority is the overall coordinating agency for this matter. So here you have to note certain terms. In this we have discussed on term water budgeting. So in ESE exam there can be separate questions regarding these terms. Like we have seen in previous exam they have asked for carbon footprint. So when we learn about climate change, we will see the carbon dioxide emissions and all, but they have asked the specific term. So whenever you are reading such news, just note the terms like this and understand what it is. Now we will go to Jal Shakti Abhiyan. It is a campaign. Campaign is mainly intended to raise awareness among the people. It is a campaign with the same purpose for water conservation in water stressed blocks all over India. Certain blocks are identified. Blocks, Gram Panchayat, and the next level is block level, then district level. So the water stressed blocks are identified and there water conservation interventions are implemented. So water conservation, there are different methods like water harvesting, crop management, like that, such interventions. The water conservation plans will be implemented at the district and block level. So district and block level wise plans will be prepared and it will be implemented. What are the main interventions planned? There are 5 main water conservation interventions are planned. They are rainwater harvesting, renovation of water bodies, that is traditional water bodies. According to the geographical significance of the region, we have different types of water bodies. Some places it will be wells, some places it will be tanks. So accordingly, traditional water structures will be there. So renovate and use that structures. Then reuse of water. So we use water for different purposes. We use water for cleaning, we use water for bathing. So such water can be reused. So identify which water can be reused and reuse the water. Recharge, use it for recharging the structures, these traditional water harvesting structures. Then fourth is watershed management. Watershed is the place where different rivers originate. So water will be falling there and it will soak the soil and it will drip to the ground and it will recharge the groundwater aquifers. From there rivers will originate. So for watershed conservation, we need to conserve the forest, we need to conserve the landscape. If the area is mined, how it will recharge the aquifers? The rivers will die. So such kind of intervention is required. The fifth one is intensive afforestation. So for watershed management and groundwater recharging, in intensive afforestation, replanting the trees in the forest is required. So these are the 5 main interventions planned. So along with it, a campaign is also there. Mobilization of different groups, school students, NGOs, Panchayati Raj institution members, self-help groups, defense personnel, ex-servicemen, pensioners. So the different group of social groups are there that we can utilize them and we can mobilize them for taking up these interventions in their area. That is Jal Shakti Abhiyan. So we can tell like this Abhiyan is a mission mode. There is a mission for it, there is a target for it, there is a time frame for it. So it is a mission mode project. Next is Jal Jeevan Mission. So Jal Jeevan Mission is slightly different from other two. It is about giving house water tap connections to rural India. So we know that in rural India, it is very rare to see the tap water connection. Only in certain areas, only in certain states, there exists tap water connections to even rural households. In cities, it is common, even though it is not covered uniformly in the city region. But in rural areas, it is still a distant dream. So this Jal Jeevan Mission has an aim to connect all the rural households with tap water connections by 2024. So by 2024, we have to achieve a national water grid. So we can tell like it is a water grid. Accordingly, first water grid was inaugurated in Marathwada. Marathwada, where is this? It is in Maharashtra. This is the dry region in Maharashtra. During every summer, we will hear that Marathwada region is suffering from water stress, drought, etc. So this region is highly water stressed region. So there in the regions covered in this Marathwada region, Jal Jeevan Mission was implemented for the first time in India. And in 2019-20 budget speech, there was a program, Har Har Nal Se Jal. So it is also included, it is also a part of the Jal Jeevan Mission. So every home tap water. Along with it, we have to ensure the sustainability. Where we will get this water? We have to recharge our traditional water harvesting structures, right? So these are interlinked. If we do this mission only, Jal Shakti Abhiyan mission only, we will be getting enough water for the Jal Jeevan mission. So it includes recharge, reuse, water conservation, rainwater harvesting, etc. So reuse is mainly grey water. Grey water we have seen. Grey water management is there. We can collect the water from the households that is not containing any pathogens or don't have the chance of having pathogens or other toxic chemicals. So this water can be given minimal treatment and can be reused for flushing, gardening, etc., agriculture, etc. So that is grey water management. So this time also you can remember what is grey water management. And why we need this kind of missions? We already know that India is facing severe water crisis. So if you see some report, according to NITI Aayog's Composite Water Management Index, 21 Indian cities would face day zero in coming days. 21 cities will face. What is meant by day zero? Day zero is the situation where there won't be any water to meet its needs. So it will completely run out of water. There is no water supply. So that situation is called as day zero. So 21 cities are at the risk of facing day zero situation in water resources. So which are the most susceptible cities? They are Bangalore, Chennai, Delhi and Hyderabad are the more susceptible to reach this situation. Last summer, Chennai already reached the day zero situation where it was absolutely running out of the drinking water supply to its residents. So we need water. Certain minimal water requirement is there for our food and sanitation needs. Apart from that, we need water for cleaning, etc. So at least for survival, that is food and hygiene, we need 25 liters of water per person, 25 liters per person per day. This is the WHO standards. According to World Health Organization standards, this much water is required for cooking and hygiene needs. So at least we should ensure this much. This is not enough because cleaning and all are extra. So plus cleaning and washing needs we have to add, and this much, at least this much we should ensure to the citizens. That is the situation of the water stress in India. Only a few cities are having the resources to satisfy this criteria. In other cities, the situation is very bad. That's why we are going to this kind of campaigns. So here you remember the terms water budgeting, grey water management, day zero, etc. And remember what are the water conservation intervention. Next topic is National Resource Efficiency Policy 2019. Ministry of Environment and Forest has come up with a draft policy to ensure resource efficiency in the country. So there is a question, what is resource efficiency and why do we need resource efficiency? First let us see why do we need resource efficiency. We know that India is not so rich in certain resources, especially the fuel resources. We are dependent, more than 90% or 80% of the fuel we are dependent on imports. So that is one insecurity, resource insecurity. And raw materials like iron, steel, etc. we are importing. And recently advanced resources like lithium and rare earth metals we are importing. So now world is moving towards energy efficiency, energy storage. So the lithium batteries are there in each and every scenario that we are facing. So we should also have that manufacturing base, but we are stuck at the resource base. We are not having enough resources. That's why now government is thinking of metal air batteries instead of lithium ion batteries, because we don't have resources for manufacture. Then again the situation will be like we will be depending on other countries for our most basic needs. And this is about the resources that we are using in manufacturing and economically important. What about water resources? Before topic we have discussed that India is facing severe water crisis. Conserving water is very important. And what about the air resources? Air pollution is affecting our cities in very worst manner, right? So air is also a resource. What about our forests? What about our wildlife? So these are all the resources that we have to conserve for sustainable development. So for these purposes, we should come up with a resource efficiency plan. Then what does this resource efficiency means? Resource efficiency means whatever we are using, we should use efficient. That means we should use less resources for the same purpose. So if today we are using 100 ton steel for a manufacture, we can implement some design changes or implement some procurement changes or quality changes in the raw materials and adding quality to the raw materials. Some measures we can take and reduce the resource use. So resource efficiency generally means that achieving the same quality with lesser use of resources. Also reuse. These resources, instead of dumping them in the waste, we can collect it, recycle it and reuse it. So these are the main things covered under the resource efficiency. So resource efficiency will be taking care of the environment, because more resources means it is more burden on the environment. We will go for more mining, we will go for more manufacturing processes, we will go for more cleaning processes like smelting, etc. So these are all environmentally damaging, causing carbon dioxide emissions, destroying the forest, destroying the landscape. So it will also add the social burden also. Some people will be suffering from the adverse impact of this, like pollution, loss of habitats, animals will be losing habitat, people will be losing their settlements. So it is a burden on environment and society if you are going for more resource exploitation. Instead, if you are promoting a circular economy means whatever the materials we are having, we will use it, then recycle it, and then again we will use it. So the materials will remain in the economy, so that the resource efficiency is achieved. That is circular economy. And resource security. Resource security has a relation with the resources we have. India as such is not that resource secure. So to ensure resource security, we should conserve our resources. That is the main option that we have now. So what does this policy tell? Policy suggests on authority, National Resource Efficiency Authority, to deal with these things. What are their mandates? They have to come up with strategies for resource efficiency, like strategies for material recycling, how the material recycling has to be done, how the material has to be reused. So before going to recycling, we can reuse same products, we can use it again. And about landfills, so the products that we are not able to reuse or refurbish or recycle, that will go to landfills. There should be a strategy to reduce the landfills. So we have to achieve zero landfill. That is the aim. So nothing should go as waste. Landfill means we can't recover that materials again. So out of use materials, that is we cannot reuse, we should only be going as landfill. Useful material should not go to landfills. Landfills, we know it is the dumping place. After some time it will be covered with soil and change into normal land use. So their resource will be lost, we can't use it again. So have to achieve zero landfill strategy. And when we are reusing the materials, we have to ensure the quality also. Because if imagine we are recycling the steel, so the products made with original steel and the recycled steel may not be having the same properties, right? Same properties, same strength, same quality. So we have to come up with a certain standards and quality practices that ensures that recycled materials are also having that quality, so that customers can buy them. Customers will have confidence to buy such items. So we have to set certain standards. If it is not able to produce the same quality materials, we can come up with a different quality. These materials can be used for designated purposes only. Like that, we have to standardize it. And then we have to create a database. How much resources we are using, how much resources we are recycling, how much resources are going to landfill, which are can be recycled, which cannot be recycled. Such a database is required. So this authority has the task of preparing that database also. And next is about incentives. So for this to happen, there should be a push. There should be a push from both sides, both from the manufacturing side and the consumer side also, to go for the recycling. So what is the incentive to the manufacturers to go for recycled materials? There should be some benefits like tax benefits. So there should be concessions for the units who are using recycled materials, and they can be given green loans. So what are these green loans? So green loans are the loans that are given mainly for certain purposes like carbon dioxide emission reduction, here material recycling. So such kind of units which are going for environmental friendly procedure, manufacturing procedure, will be given loans on relaxed conditions. They can be, these conditions will be like long term. So they can take their own time to repay the loans. Instead of 5 years of the normal loan, they may be given 10 years to repay. Interest rate may be less. So this green loan concept came in this green financing. So altogether we can tell like it is green financing. So it is, border term is green financing. Green financing means whatever the way the money is going to such units that are adopting environmental friendly manners. So it can be a bond, it can be a share, or it can be a loan. So such kind of methods that finance will be channeled to these units is called as green financing. So green loan is one of the green financing. So this term emerged when a financial institution gave loan for the units which are reducing the carbon dioxide emissions. So in that they will be saving certain materials, or they will be saving energy. So that energy saving, it can be used for the repayment of the loan. So what are the savings, energy or resources or whatever it is, the savings they are achieving should be enabling them to pay at least the interest. So it may take time to get that, but the institution will be allowing on the condition that they will be adopting the environmental friendly manners. Similarly, soft loans. Soft loan is different from the normal loan, that it will be on relaxed conditions. Soft loan may be for 20-25 years, interest rate will be less. So these units, small manufacturing units, if we are giving them soft loans, they will take up this kind of material recycling activities, or they can procure recycled materials for their manufacture. Apart from that, they can sell, this agency can take care to set up material recycling facilities also, so that these industries will get recycled materials. And next is about awareness. When the manufacturers are producing these products, it is finally the consumers who are buying it. So the customers, the normal people, should be aware of such things. So if you are giving some ethical implications, like it is made from recycled materials, it is doing less harm to the environment. If you are labeling it and selling it, consumers will be happy to consume it. Environmentally aware consumers and environmentally ethical consumers will take pride in consuming such goods. So such kind of awareness should be there, and that awareness will include this quality assurance also to the customers that the products are having these standards, quality standards. So these are the activities that this authority can take up. So we saw about the circular economy. Circular economy is relying on the principle of 6R. 6R and green public procurement, GPP. So in previous year ESE exam, we have got question on what is GPP. So they have simply asked the expansion of GPP. GPP is nothing but green public procurement. How this is relevant here, we will see. Green public procurement means procuring materials that are less harmful to the environment. So say government institutions, offices, etc., they will be procuring so many things from outside, including office stationaries, right? So if they are ensuring that the materials they are procuring is coming from environment friendly industries, they like here we can tell like it is made up of recycled materials. So it will give impetus to the industries also, and it will set the policy of the government that they are environmentally concerned, right? So that is like a major shift in giving boost to this circular economy. So green public procurement is encouraged in public institutions. It is, since it is government procurement, we will call like public procurement. So if we are adopting this as policy, it will help in the circular economy. And related to it is SPP. What is the full form of SPP? It is Sustainable Procurement Policy. So instead of green, we will tell like sustainable. That ensures that the products are manufactured in a sustainable manner. It is ensuring the sustainable development. So this term also you can remember. Now what are the 6 R's that are taking care? 6 R's are reduce. Reduce means reduce the resource use itself. So in the first stage itself, we are cutting the resource use. That is, we are achieving the resource efficiency. So we will need less resources only. Reuse. So whatever the materials we are using, instead of throwing it away after the first stage, reuse it for making other product, or the same product itself we can reuse. Then after the product is released, when it is coming back after its life, we can take back the materials and use it again, and redesign the products, remanufacture, refurbish. So when a product is having some minor defects and all, we can rectify the defects and sell it as refurbished products. Instead of selling it as normal product, giving some concession in the prices, it can be sold as refurbished products. So these are all will help in the circular economy in resource management. So here many terms are there that is relevant to an engineer and relevant to the ESE exam. So you have to understand this term, so that if any option statement is coming in the exam, you will be able to answer them. Now let us see about the forest certification scheme. So this is developed by an NGO. That NGO name is NCCF, that is Network for Certification and Conservation of Forests. They have come up with a certification mechanism, that is certification standard for sustainable forest management. So this is a standard. So accordingly, this NCCF will be certifying the forest products that they have come up with the sustainable forest management products. So they have come up with a certain standards for the certification, and this standards are endorsed by an international organization, that is again an NGO that is dealing with the forest certification internationally. So that is the news. The standard is endorsed globally, so it will get global recognition also. So regarding the forest certification, it is not a regulatory based, it is not taken up by any government authority, but it is rather a market based system. Market based system is according to the demand. According to the demand of the market, some third parties has come up with the scheme and they will certify the products. So why there is market based? Because there is an emerging consciousness that forest should not be destroyed for any purpose. For example, we are using timber, but consumer will be environmentally aware and he or she wants that this timber has come from a forest such that it is not contributing to the destruction of the forest. Instead, they are taking up some management practices like replanting the trees, right? So such kind of environmental assurance that a customer needs. So such customers can buy the products from these certified parties. So they will be certifying that they are following the sustainable forest management. So it is voluntary, it is dependent. So the manufacturers can go for this certification so that their product will get the certificate and recognition in the market. First, what are the two types of certificates? First is about forest management. So these parties will go and check and ensure that certain standard practices are followed in the forest management. So forest management will include limits on the cutting trees and regrowing, afforestation, then ensuring the rights of the people living in that area. The people, forest dwellers are there, so their rights are also ensured, they are given due share, they are not thrown out of their land. So such kind of things also they should ensure. Then biodiversity is preserved, they are not harming any animals, they are not harming the critical habitats. So such kind of many aspects are there, such kind of things in the management practices are taken care, and then resources are used. And ensuring all these things, resources are harvested from the forest and used. Second is about chain of custody. Once the products have come, it will go through a long chain, right? It will go to different manufacturing facilities, different storage units, and then only it will reach the final customer. So in this process, there are chances that the products which are not certified also can come and mix up, right? So for ensuring that these products are not getting mixed up with other products, it is maintaining a separate inventory and separate manufacturing chain. This chain of custody certification is there. So they will see the whole chain also, whole supply chain also, how it is going, and ensure that these products are not getting mixed up with other products. So only certified products are coming from one end to the another. So these two are the aspects in the certification. So how this is relevant to India? India is having a lot of forest resources, and there we have different people depending on the forest. So already we have controversies, right? Forest rights of the people. Many times these people are evicted from their land. They are not given due share of their traditional assets, right? That is an issue in India, forest rights. Then degradation of forests. Many of the forest land in India are getting degraded. How we will restore them? And third is about biodiversity. Biodiversity loss is a major concern in India. When we are destroying the forest, habitat of various animals are also getting destroyed. So these kind of issues, this certification can ensure. So this certification is a tool to ensure the sustainable forest management. Next topic is Recycling of Ships Bill 2019. Recently, Indian Parliament has passed this bill. So it is one of the recent happenings, and it has relevance with environment and also the resource efficiency. So resource efficiency we were discussing, it is about, one of the aspect is about recycling. So this can be considered as a measure to ensure the recycling, and also the main concern is the environmental safety. So the main concern is environment and health and safety of the workers. So these three terms are important for the engineer. In terms of the engineering ethics also, we will see these terms frequently. So this is relevant to this bill is relevant to an engineer and also for the ESE exam. So what does this bill say? Firstly, this bill deals with the recycling of the ships in India. Second is permits the accession to the international convention, that is Hong Kong Convention. Hong Kong Convention for the safe and environmentally sound recycling of ships 2009. So this convention happened in 2009. So accession, India is going to access to the convention, India is going to sign this convention. So these two are the things handled in this bill. And this Hong Kong Convention is mainly dealing with the environment, health and safety of the workers in the recycling industry. So according to this convention, it requires that the ships should not be having any hazardous material when it is going for recycling, so that they have to get a certificate, like a ready for recycling certificate before going for recycling. And the recycling facility should be complying with the certain standards, ensuring the safety and health of the workers. So when they are getting the certificate according to the standards set by the convention, then only they can recycle the ships. So when India is assessing to this convention, Indian legislation will also change so as to ensure these standards. How it is? So first it will ensure that there is no hazardous materials in the ships. So some hazardous material should be eliminated in the ship's construction itself. So new ships, this has immediate effect, and the old ships have time to comply with this time. So after they are eliminating the hazardous materials, on the new ships which is coming without hazardous materials, they will get a certification. They will get a certification that they are not using any prohibited materials. Second is authorization of recycling facilities. So the recycling facility should be surveyed and checked that they are following the safety practices. And the ships will get ready for recycling certification according to the Hong Kong Convention rules, and with that certificate they will come to these centers and undergo recycling. Why this is important? Ship recycling industry is important to India. First of all, it is a labor intensive industry. So we need more labor intensive industries to give employment to our people, right? So it is labor intensive. So if we get more ships to recycle, we can generate more employment in the country. And presently India share 30% of the global ship recycling industry. So 30% of the global ship recycling industries are in India, and some countries are not willing to give their ships to India because we are not following certain standard practices, like European Union, Japan, etc. They won't send their ships to India because existing conditions in the ship recycling industry is very hazardous. The workers are facing different safety issues, workers are facing different health issues. So we have to take care of these things. For taking care of these things, it is better to comply with the international convention and get certificate, so that these people also will send their ships for recycling. So if we get more customers, the industry will thrive, and we will get more employment, and we will get more money also, right? So it helps in employment generation. Plus we will get additional benefits like environment friendly procedures and also safety of the workers. So it is like, once we ensure these things, we can make it as a sustainable industry that is helping to our economy also. At present we have ship recycling centers at Alang in Gujarat, in Mumbai, Kolkata and in Kerala. So these units should change so as to comply with the standards, get the certificate, then they will get more business. That is the aim. So as of now, the industry is hazardous because the ships have certain hazardous materials like asbestos, PCB, TBT, chlorofluorocarbons, etc. So what are these chemicals? Just remember their names. Asbestos, polychlorinated biphenyl, tributylene, chlorofluorocarbons. So these are identified as the hazardous materials that will cause health problems to the workers, and it may even cause cancer also. So at present the industry workers are suffering from these issues. So with the enactment of this bill and obeying the rules to this convention, we can eliminate these issues. That's why this bill has its environmental significance. Let us see another topic. It is about a report by the United Nations, that is United Nations Global Environment Outlook, that was published in 2019. So it is a comprehensive report on the status of the environment and the policy suggestions for the different governments. So it is coming out after 5 years, and this is the sixth report that UN has put forward. So what are the main points discussed in this report? According to the status, the report says that we can see premature deaths in many cities if you are not going for environmental protection. So this death can be due to pollution, mainly due to pollution. In cities, premature deaths will be more common unless we are protecting the environment. And next concern is about the antimicrobial resistance. Antimicrobial resistance is that existing drugs are not able to kill the microbes, especially the bacteria. They are becoming superbugs. They are getting adaptation over the drugs that we are having. So it will end up in a situation that our research will not be going at the fast pace to find the drugs so as to kill the bacteria. So people will die of diseases. So this antimicrobial resistance, now they are pointing out in freshwater systems. So in water ecosystems, freshwater ecosystems, the antimicrobial resistance is increasing. So it will result in different endocrinal disorders in the human beings, resulting in fertility loss, mutations, diseases like that. And it points out that we have enough technology, enough science and technology for sustainable development. Enough technology for sustainable development pathway. But only thing is we need effort from the political side, effort from the government side, and effort from the business side. Political people and the business people should give enough support to adapt to the sustainable development pathways to ensure environmental protection, because we have enough resources to tackle this issue, but only the motivation is missing. So what are the suggestions that the report is giving? They are coming up with the different suggestions. First is green investment. The government should invest in green mothers. So at least 2% of the GDP, if they are investing, it is very good. At least 2% of the GDP if you are going for green investment. Green investment means investing in such things that will ensure the sustainable development. So it can be investment in ecological restoration. It can be an investment in water body conservation. So it could be an investment in reducing pollution. So such kind of green investments will ensure environmental protection. And we should go for less meat diet and reduce food waste. So these steps like this will ensure less food production. Less food production will ensure conservation of the environmental resources, because we are consuming a lot of resources in terms of water, land, etc. for food production. Still some regions are facing food insecurity. So if we are going for less resource efficient, less resource requiring diets like less meat diet and reducing food waste, we can tackle this issue. And reducing the environmental footprint of citizens. Environmental footprint means how much the environmental resources that a person or an entity is using. Here the citizens, how we can reduce the environmental footprint of the citizens? If the government is taking such measures that for land use planning, transport, public transport, good governance in the term of, for example, like e-governance, etc., will reduce the resources that a citizen has to consume. If the land use plan, the city plans and the transport plans are laid such that they have to travel very less to avail the public facilities, to go to school, to go to work, and the transport is also, public transport is also available. It will reduce the energy consumption by the citizens. That is energy consumption in terms of fuel consumption by the citizens, right? So also if it is we are going for good governance methods like e-governance, transparency, etc., it will reduce the demand of the citizens from the government, right? Government can manage the governance with the help of less resources. So these things like this will help to reduce the footprint of the citizens. So government can take measures in this direction. Next is rural investment. Invest in rural areas so that the rural people won't migrate. This is to reduce the migration. So when they are migrating, they will end up in coming to the cities, and mostly they will end up in the slums in the city, but don't have enough facilities. So it is not a sustainable urban development. So if we can reduce the urban migration from rural areas, this issue can be tackled, so that urban pollution, etc., can be reduced. So before that, they should be having enough resources, enough livelihood resources in the rural region itself. That needs good investment in the rural regions. Next is reducing the plastic pollution. As of now, almost 8 million tons of plastic is going to the oceans. Right. So if we are reducing the plastic pollution, we can reduce the amount of plastic that is getting dumped in the oceans. So we can preserve the ocean. So government should take care to reduce the plastic pollution also. So instead of going for peace bill Measures like reducing plastic pollution, reducing air pollution, reducing water pollution. If we can see it like a single unit, like pollution is related to diseases, diseases is related to the economy, right? Economic involvement of the people. Again, energy is related to food. Food production requires more energy. Consuming food we can reduce the resources. So these have interlinks. So if the authorities can come up with a comprehensive plan covering all these issues, that will be better than piecemeal legislations. So last topic in this lecture is the UN Assembly, that is UN Environment Assembly. So UN Environment Assembly is the highest decision making authority in the environmental matters. So that is the fourth assembly of the United Nations regarding the environment. So here they will discuss the environmental challenges and the goal of the sustainable development. So we have sustainable development goals. So the way to align with these goals, this kind of issues will be discussed in this assembly. So this time the theme was innovative solutions for environmental challenges and sustainable consumption and production. So innovative solutions for environmental challenges, sustainable consumption and production. So it is covering the environmental challenges and also the business aspect also, the consumption and production, which is sustainable. So what are the different areas identified? First one is environmental challenges in terms of poverty, natural resource use, which includes food security, biodiversity, etc. So this will cover the issues of food security, biodiversity, etc. So how to tackle these issues? Next is about the life cycle approach. Life cycle approach we have seen in our previous topics, how we are efficiently using the resources. In case of resources, resource efficiency. In case of energy, how we can ensure that resources are not getting depleted. At the same time, we will get continuous supply of energy. And regarding the chemicals and waste management, how to adopt this life cycle approach in these areas. That is the second major area that was under discussion. Third is about business, sustainable business. So rapidly technology is changing, so business is facing a lot of hardships to be in line with the technological challenges and technological changes. And then environmental issues that is associated with the consumption and production. So we should be having innovative, sustainable business development. Sustainable development, that business should be running for a long run. Sustainable in the terms of economical, social aspects, right? Economical, social and environmental aspect. So innovative solutions for the business, that is another area of discussion. So let us see about the participation of India, and this assembly India has moved 2 resolutions. So one was about the single use plastic. So we have seen in our previous lectures that they have enacted a law to ban the single use plastics, right? We have taken it as a national challenge to eliminate the use of single use plastics, that we have discussed in our previous lectures. Next is about the nitrogen management. So this nitrogen management we will see in the coming lectures. What is the problem with the nitrogen, how it can be managed. So this nitrogen management, overuse of nitrogen has its impact in the pollution, biodiversity, agriculture and even ozone depletion. These things we will discuss later. So these 2 resolutions was put forward by India and was accepted in the assembly. So with this we are winding up this session. So the next session we will come up with more environmental issues like pollution. So these are the topics that has its relation with the resource efficiency and resource use in the environmental scenario. So please take note of the terms that we have discussed here.